Hello there folks, Kirk here with Kirk Giordano Plastering. My son as usual doing the video work and all the tech stuff. What I'm going to show you guys today is the proper way to add 2 more layers to this Tyvek membrane. Now this Tyvek is really good stuff. It's engineered so that the wind doesn't tear it. It's really nice. You need a utility knife, and I recommend putting on a new blade each time you use it because you can rip through it, but you can't tear it. Anyhow, in some cities they allow just the Tyvek, but we're going to add 2 more layers of grade D building paper on top of this because I don't want to guess as far as which city allows it. And although it's recommended we can use this, I never do. I always put 2 more layers on it if we come to this situation. The fella here who did this Tyvek actually did a real nice job. He put a tape right here over all the joints as you're supposed to. All your vertical joints get taped. So he did a real nice job. I think he was going to go siding at one time, but he decided on the stucco. What we're doing here is we're putting drip screeds around the perimeter. Okay, the foundation is here, and this drip screed goes, I generally go 1 inch below the plywood. And the idea is the water is going to go through the 2 layers of stucco, more than likely through the paint also, land on my 2 layers of paper as well as this layer, come here and drip harmlessly. When I bring this down and cut it, it'll drip harmlessly onto the screed and through the weep holes. So that's what this is, a weep or a drip screed. It means the same thing. Also gives us something to stop to, and equally important is it gives the house a little bit of ability to flex. A lot of homes don't have a weep screed and they tend to crack more, especially under all windows and doors. When we get to that stage where we're wiring, we'll show you that too. With a Tyvek membrane or any other type of membrane, when we're applying our 2 layers more of paper, important thing to remember is the inspector is going to see this right here. They want to see that whatever membrane we use is underneath the flashing membrane around the window. So what I'm going to do when I get to this point is we're going to bring our 2 layers of paper straight up, and we're going to cut this. And I'm going to slide my 2 layers underneath this, put it back down. So we're going to use his Tyvek as a moisture barrier also. As far as the studs, where the heck are the studs? It's all covered. Well, when we lifted this, I went ahead and marked the studs. The studs are every 16 on center, which means, for those of you who can't find studs, this vent is on a stud here, this here. The windows are on studs here, here. I know where they are without marking them because I've been doing this a while. Every 16 inches on center. I'll show you guys some things that are important when we get to the next stage. After we wire it, after we paper it, then I'll show you guys some important things of how to do the wire, because I do a lot of work for contractors, and because of the recession they're doing their own paper and wire, and they're not doing it proper. So hopefully if you're trying to do this, you'll do it proper, meaning you put the wire in the correct direction and on the right side so that the self-furred backs the wire away from the wall. That way we can get some mud underneath and on top of that wire, so it's in the center. Anyway, we'll get to that later. I just wanted to show you where we're going with this Tyvek membrane and our 2 layers over it. Okay guys, here's the important thing that I want to show you. No matter what membrane is on the house, this particular house has got the Tyvek. Great stuff. I'm putting my 2 layers of paper here. And why do I use 2 instead of 1? Well, these are spot glued together, meaning you pay a few bucks more for 2 layers as opposed to 1 layer. So you might as well go ahead and buy the 2 layers because 2 is cold anyway. So I'm cutting right here at the flashing, and I'm taking this paper and I'm going underneath here. And we tuck it right there, and then once we get it underneath these 2 layers, and it's under this membrane here too. So I'm all the way up under this membrane right here. It's like a window wrap, almost like a grace membrane. It's a peel and stick. So I'm underneath this guy here. Now I'm going to tack this down. And now my next layer of paper is going to go to the window and over this horizontally 3 inches. So if we're all the way to here, to the window, then we're covering this. That's what gives it all the waterproofing properties, because again, whether or not they paint it, most paints are not waterproof unless you go with the Kelly-Moore Elastomeric, which is water resistant. And that's only between 7 and 12 years. Anyhow, we're pretending like they're not going to waterproof this at all, and we're doing all the waterproofing. So our paper goes to the window, and then of course we're going to seal. Even though they're sealed here, we're still going to take our paper, go to the window, and seal it with a Sikaflex polyurethane caulking. When I do painting, I use a different caulking, but for this, we are sealing it up with the polyurethane. So we're going to go ahead and paper this whole wall all the way down. Then when we're done with the paper, I'll show you guys the proper way to do the wires. Okay guys, we're at a stage where we're done with the bottom. You always work at the bottom, overlap your paper. So here's the paper we started with, and we're overlapping it 3 inches with a horizontal seam. We're keeping this window right here 1.5 inches around with the wire, because he's going to put some trim here, and he wants to build it up like he did the rest of the house, where it has a sill and then some redwood stops around here. So when I do my caulking today here, I'll take a flat stick and I'll put it real flat right here, otherwise his redwood trim will rock. So rather than me, the way I usually do it, put a fat bead of caulking here, it's going to be a bead of caulking here, and then I take a flat stick like a painter's stick and just flatten that out. And of course, we're nailing off every 6 inches on center studs. So you get the idea. It's kind of a spaghetti around here, but you start from the bottom, you work your way up. And when I get to that stage there, I'll show you how to do the corners finally. That'll be the completion of it. Okay guys, we're wrapping it up here. Notice we've used the Sikaflex polyurethane caulking on all the edges right there. That's this stuff right here. Good stuff. It just seals the paper to the flange. And although we're flashed and reflashed, never hurts to put this on. Better overbuild than underbuild. Different kind of sealant than I'll use for painting. I'll use for painting a different solution, more of a latex. But for this, where we want to fuse everything, that's what we use. Okay, I got one corner I'm going to put on here, and we're going to get out of here. And I don't know if you can see the top up here. You can see the top up there. I notched the corner out so it goes all the way to the rafters. And I'm putting the last guy right here. And these corners got to line up. They got to be true and plumb. There are guides. If the guides are wrong, our stucco's wrong. I've been doing this a long time, so I can use a gun. But those of you guys who are trying to do it yourself, probably be better off just nailing these guys in. The idea is we want this corner to line up with the drip screed here. I'll come away from that corner there. So not too many staples. We want to be embedded. When we put our scratch coat on here, we want it to go behind. Some guys get carried away and put a lot of staples. You don't necessarily need all that much. All right, guys. My son and I are going to get out of here. We thank you for watching. Maybe you learned something. If you don't want to do this kind of stuff, call me or somebody like me. Thanks again. We'll see you on the next one.